Why is the Nigerian government incapable of handling insecurity? Why are they seemingly quiet about insecurity? Why are the killing, especially of Christians around the northeast and northwest part of Nigeria, not concerning to the government of Nigeria? Why is the Nigerian government so quiet about this? These are questions that beg for answers. Why is the president of Nigeria, the vice president, the senate, all of them so quiet about the recent killings going on in Nigeria? Is there something we do not know? Is there something we should know? Is there something that Nigerians do not know happening on the ground? Somebody said that the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria are sitting in Aso Rock, that they are sitting in the government houses, in the Parastate House, and we doubted him. Today, it is playing out. Why is the Nigerian government so quiet about this? For the past 20 years, Nigeria has met an onslaught of terrorism attack, banditry, in fact, different sections and factions of insecurity. And sometimes the Nigerian state seem to be completely quiet about all these things. Sometimes I ask myself, does it mean that these people are more powerful than the Nigerian state? Does it mean that these people cannot be controlled, cannot be decimated by the Nigerian state? Or rather, is it that the Nigerian state wants to keep quiet about these things? Or is it that some people within the Nigerian state are sponsoring these things? Because if you remember, a former president of Nigeria once said, a military president, that any insecurity that goes beyond 24 hours is sponsored by the state. How can you tell me that a state like Nigeria cannot have peace for a day? Each single day, there is a case of killing going on. Now, you remember what happened the last 2 days, or Easter Monday. Some group of Christians were singing their chants, going on the street, and somebody ran over them. A case of terrorism, premeditated. And some people explained it away. Because look, what we have in Nigeria is a situation where the most horrific things are flowered with words. You see, some of the people that came out to talk about it said it's an accident, a premeditated action. Somebody ran over people, and to show that it was premeditated, the same truck that ran people over still had its brake functioning, and you tell me it is not premeditated. What is happening in Nigeria? What is happening in Nigeria? For the past 4 months, it has been killing upon killing, unaliving upon unaliving, from Enugu State to Bokos, from Bokos to different parts of Plateau, from Plateau to Borno, from Borno back to Plateau, from Plateau to Benue, from Benue to Borno. In fact, it's about unaliving people has become a daily recurrence in Nigeria. How did we get to this point where people are unalived? In fact, mass burial has become a common scenario in Nigeria. The reverence for life has gone out of our dictionary, that we no longer see death as anything. That is why the government has been completely silent about these things. Because let's think about it. How will I explain to my generation that the president of Nigeria, for instance, the vice president, the Senate, only tweets about death without action? In fact, the worst case scenario happened within the last 2 weeks. The president was out of the country. He went to France for a working visit. Have you heard about that before? It is only in Nigeria that we hear about these kind of irresponsible terminologies. Working visit. Has there been a time in the history of Nigeria that the French president visits Nigeria to stay for 2 weeks on a working visit? That the American president, the British prime minister, or any of these comes to Nigeria to stay for 2 weeks on a working visit. And let me count the number of things that happened within that working visit. 59 were killed in Benue State. In Borno, it was not left out. People were unalived in their numbers. And in all these things, the president of Nigeria never uttered a word. In a Senate climb, the president would leave whatever he's doing because he is the chief security officer, for Christ's sake. He is the chief security officer. And when cases of insecurity happens, he is the chief security officer. He should take the responsibility immediately. Somebody said that the government of Nigeria does not treat Nigerians. And it is true. Because these scenarios playing out show that these people don't even care about Nigerians. If they do, once the first terrorist attack happened in Benue, the president should and must leave whatever he is doing and return back to the country. But somebody also said, and that statement still haunts me, that even when the president was in Nigeria, these things were happening and he said nothing. So why would he leave where he's maybe enjoying himself and come back to Nigeria? And then you find a group of sycophants, old men behaving like children. So whenever the president wants to go anywhere, they will come and line up like children on a march past, line up to usher the president out of the country. And when he's coming back, they also line up again. How shameful or shameless have we become as a country? Now, Boko Haram has become a household name in Nigeria. People are unalived on the dailies by these set of criminals, terrorists. And to make matters worse, in the last week alone, 390 something of these terrorists were de-radicalized. Folks, how did we get to this point where we now de-radicalize terrorists? Tell me, if in America an act of terrorism occurs, what happens to the terrorists? Decimated. If luck is on their side, they will be in a maximum prison where they will never see the light of day again. This is what they should be doing to terrorists. Use them as deterrents so that further action like that will never reoccur. But in Nigeria, the Nigerian government panders with these people. Have you heard a government that negotiates with terrorists, negotiates with bandits, negotiates with a government that pays ransom to kidnappers? That is our government, the shameless one. I pity the next generation of this, hoping on this government, because these people have shown how clueless and how irresponsible they are. I pity Nigerians who still hope on these people because they don't care about you. They would rather spend 10 billion building what I don't know, a nation without electricity. But it is not the concern of the government to procure steady electricity for her citizens. Their most concern is to build solar panels for themselves. We used to define government as a democracy as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But today, it is a government of the government, for the government, and by the government. They run the show themselves. Nigerians, we are cooked. We better wake up. Let's not talk about the election or electoral malpractice already in plan. 2027 is their major plan. How did we get to the point where unaliving people has become a daily recurrence in Nigeria and nobody's saying anything about it? Mass burials have become common. It has been commonized. It is now a normal thing. IDP camps, have become a common scenario. People now leave their homes, displaced from their homes, and the government doesn't care. How did we get to this point? If you have answers, let us know in the comment section, because now it is becoming a premeditated action by the government of Nigeria. There is no other explanation, because these people seem to be clueless about handling insecurity. The outcry from our soldiers, from our military people now show that it is either state sponsored, or that the people sponsoring these things are also in charge of our government. I hope we take our lessons. This is our government, and I hope we learn from it. Shares. Let me know in the comment section what you think about these things, the insecurity in Nigeria, how you think we can handle it better. Let me know in the comment section. Remember to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.